They say silence can kill you slowly. Mine almost did. For months, I was a ghost haunting my own apartment, 30 floors above a city that kept moving while I couldn't even stand without trembling. When the invitation came, thick cardstock, gold lettering, it felt like mockery. Join us in celebrating Dr. Evelyn Ross, newly appointed Chief of Surgery at St. Matthew's Medical Center. My mother's name. Her perfect achievement. Her perfect life. And me, her daughter, the failed researcher who disappeared after getting too emotional to work. Pain had become my language. Burning, twitching, collapsing muscles. Blurred vision that turned the world into fog. But every doctor, every one of Mom's colleagues, called it anxiety. You're too focused on your body, they said. You're catastrophizing. My sister, Naomi, called that morning. You're coming, right? Mom's been planning this for months. I can barely get off the couch, I whispered, then push through, she said. It's one night. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Because I was used to no one listening. The next day, Dr. Aaron Miles from the National Institute of Neuroimmunology called. Miss Ross, we have your results. Please come in. And, bring someone if you can. My hands shook so hard I almost dropped the phone. Is it bad? He paused. Let's talk in person. The next morning, I sat alone in his office while the world outside glowed too bright. He turned his screen toward me. You have neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder. Your immune system is attacking your spinal cord and optic nerves. The damage is real, and progressing fast. It was like someone cracked the glass I'd been breathing through. For the first time, someone saw me. Is it treatable? I asked. Yes. But we need to start immediately. High-dose steroids, immunosuppressants. Without them, you could lose your sight, or worse. He looked at me with quiet anger. You've been told this was anxiety? That's malpractice. I told him my mother was a surgeon. He went still. Then she should have known better. He handed me a folder thick with charts and scans. Show this to her. Tell your family. They need to understand. I nodded, but deep down, I already knew they wouldn't. Saturday night, I wore the blue dress she'd picked years ago, her version of presentable. The country club sparkled with chandeliers and champagne. 200 people in suits and sequins. My mother stood near the stage, flawless in burgundy silk, surrounded by admiration. When she saw me, her smile faltered. You look exhausted, she whispered. At least fix your hair. Dr. Benson from the board is here. Mom, I need to talk, not now. She turned away I sat in the back, clutching the folder Dr. Miles had given me, listening to speeches about her brilliance, her compassion, her commitment to evidence-based medicine. Then it happened. A man from the audience asked, Dr. Ross, how do you handle patients who imagine illnesses they don't have? She smiled like it was rehearsed. With compassion, she said. My own daughter believes she has some rare neurological condition. Multiple colleagues have examined her. Sometimes, the kindest thing is helping patients accept that they're healthy. Laughter that I swear the sound sliced through my skin, something inside me broke open. I stood, folder in hand, legs trembling. You're wrong, I said, my voice cutting across the applause. I'm not healthy. I'm not anxious. You just didn't bother to look. The room fell silent. My mother froze mid-smile. I have neuromyelitis optica, I continued, voice shaking but clear. I was diagnosed yesterday. My immune system is attacking my spine and eyes while you've been telling everyone I'm delusional. Gasps rippled through the crowd. A tall man stood near the front, Dr. Samuel Wright, the Surgeon General. Did you say neuromyelitis optica? Yes. Dr. Aaron Miles confirmed it. Dr. Wright looked at my mother. And you dismissed this as anxiety? There were evaluations, Mom stammered. Did anyone order antibody panels? MRIs? Silence. Dr. Miles appeared from the side of the room, calm and steady. I did. The results are conclusive. Multiple spinal lesions. Optic nerve inflammation. High AQP4 antibody titers. He handed the charts to Dr. Wright. The Surgeon General turned to my mother. Dr. Ross, you publicly ridiculed your daughter's symptoms moments ago. What we're seeing is a complete failure of diagnostic responsibility, and of empathy. The ballroom was dead quiet. My mother looked like she couldn't breathe. Dr. Wright's voice carried across the hall. Let this be a lesson: when arrogance replaces listening, people suffer. Even the people you claim to love. The promotion was suspended before the night ended. Reporters whispered. My mother stood frozen under the lights, her crown of authority cracking in real time. I walked out into the cold, folder still in hand, finally feeling seen. Days later, she showed up at my treatment center, eyes red, voice trembling. I'm sorry, she said. I thought I was protecting you from obsession. I didn't know. You didn't know, I said softly, because you didn't want to. She came to every infusion after that. My sister started referring chronic cases to specialists. My father began fundraising for neuroimmunology research. They were trying to rebuild the bridge they'd burned to ash. And I started walking again. Slowly. Carefully. Months later, the hospital implemented a new policy: mandatory second opinions for staff family members. They called it the Lena Protocol. My name. My pain turned into protection for someone else. A year later, in remission, I sat across from my mother at dinner. She looked smaller, quieter. I've learned something, she said. Confidence isn't the same as certainty. I stopped listening because I thought I couldn't be wrong. I smiled faintly. You stopped being curious. She nodded. I'm trying to change that. It wasn't enough to erase what happened. But it was a start. Some families hear your pain the first time you speak. Others need a public reckoning. Mine needed the Surgeon General. I wish it had been different. But sometimes, the only way to make people listen is to set fire to the silence they built around you. So I did, and that fire, my truth, burned its way into policy, into awareness, into survival, because your truth doesn't need permission to exist. It just needs you to stop whispering it.